Okay, so welcome back, and now we're going to take this layout that we've created and we're going to turn it into a three-dimensional floor plan of your house. So one thing I wanted to change, and this would be something you should consider, is that this room, it's always nice to have closets in bedrooms, and so we're going to space this apart enough that we could fit a closet in between the two bedrooms, and that'll make more sense in a second once I draw that in. So now that we've got this figured out, this is our final layout. We're going to highlight this whole component, this whole thing, all our separate rooms together, and we're going to turn it into one component. And that way we can move it back and forth out of the way, and it's not going to get distorted or changed in any way. So once we've done that, now we're going to create, it's almost like we're creating a layer that's going to be separate from this. So we're going to trace around the exterior of this whole footprint using the line tool. We're going to go to every corner, and I swing wide here to make sure that the line is actually following, because sometimes it can disappear on you. So clicking, and if you find you need to zoom in to make sure you're connecting in the right location at the end point or wherever, then do that and zoom in just to ensure that you're actually clicking in the right location. So now I've gone around the entire building. Now I want to grab that component that I made, which is the whole layout that we created, and move it off of the footprint that I just traced. Now that we have this footprint, we can use it to create our exterior walls. And we could create our exterior walls on the inside of that footprint, but because this is a small house, I think it would be better to go to the outside. So we're going to select the offset tool up here, and we can click on the exterior wall, and we're going to drag it towards the outside of that line and type in 6 inches, and now we've created our exterior wall. And exterior walls are generally 6 inches wide on a drawing. They end up being a little bit wider than that. In Canada, or in the region where we live, it's code to have around R30 in your wall system. So in order to achieve that, we have to have a 2x6 wall plus some foam insulation on the exterior to satisfy code. But for these purposes, we will just stay with a 6-inch wall. Now that we've done that, we can select our layout, and we can move that back into place on top of the foundation or the exterior walls that we've created. So it's like you're working with two different layers. Now what we have to do is go through and decide where we want interior walls. So we definitely want walls around our bedrooms, bathrooms, storage, and laundry. But in this case, I'm going to keep my kitchen, dining room, and living room as one sort of open concept area. There's quite a few houses these days that sort of consider that and take that into account, and that's the way they kind of design their space. And we're designing a very small home for 1 to 2 people. So grab the line tool and just trace the lines where you actually want walls to be. So I'm just tracing everywhere where I think a wall should go, and once I'm done that, then I can grab that layout component once again and shift it off the plan, the floor plan. So now I have sort of a crude version of what my floor plan is going to look like. And now we have to make our walls thicker than obviously a single line. And interior walls are a different thickness than most exterior walls. And so we've got to make these walls a little thicker. And in where we live in this part of the world, we're going to use a 2x4 wall. And when we draw that into a drawing, we use a 4-inch wall system because that accounts for drywall and a few other things. In reality, the wall will end up being wider than that because if you have drywall on both sides, you're going to have a 4.5-inch thick wall. But for simplicity, we're going to keep it at 4 inches. So you can use your tape measure tool, and if you select a line like this long line here, and we want to have a wall, we want to thicken this wall, we can use the tape measure tool to draw a parallel line. Now, I could go this way, but then I would have a very thick wall in this corner, which is unnecessary. So I'm going to actually push this towards the bedrooms and type in 4 inches, and it's going to create a line parallel to that wall. And then I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to do a 4-inch line parallel to that for the inside of the closet wall and on the other side. And over here, I'm going to bring this in so it keeps our kitchen as big as possible. Bring this line up 4 inches. Now this dividing line between the bathroom and the utility room, I'm going to actually make that a little bit thicker and make it 6 inches to allow for a plumbing stack to go through. Because you got a bathroom and utility room. A plumbing stack is a big, larger pipe that goes right up through into the attic and allows ventilation to the drain and waste system of your house. So I've got all my walls thickened. I'm going to actually add in here a small closet, primarily like a broom closet or something. So I'm going to add some lines in there while I'm doing it. I'm going to undo that because I think I typed in the wrong width there. And come across 4 inches. Let me try that again. Okay. I'll do that in a second here. So now once we've got our walls in, we're going to go through with our line tool and we're going to trace these construction lines and fill these in. And this is going to just thicken our walls and actually represent what those are going to look like. So I'm just making sure that when I click, it's at either the intersection or the end point on the line, and that's just going to prevent errors. And if it does click in the wrong location, you can push escape and then just re-click. And this is where you have to be zooming in and out constantly to sort of make it work. Once I've got those lines thickened, then I can just go to Edit, Delete Guides, and I've got basically the outline of all my walls. So I was talking about doing a small closet here, so I'm going to make that 16 inches deep as a sort of a like a broom closet. Put a back wall in it. I'm going to measure the width of this. It's 8 feet. So I'm going to actually make this 46 inches. And then I'm going to put a 4-inch wall here. And now I've got 2 closets that are both 46 inches. Now you could make it different if you wanted the master bedroom closet to be bigger. You could make this the spare bedroom. You could make a smaller closet there if you wanted to. But I'm going to trace these lines as well. And you could use the line tool if you want. You could use the rectangle tool. It doesn't really matter. You're basically, I just Control Z there. You're basically just creating an outline of your walls. So once we've done that, same thing, we'll delete our guides, and now we've got to go through and clean this up. So we're going to use our erase tool. We're going to zoom in, and anywhere where there's a wall meeting an exterior wall, we're going to erase any of those connections and clean it up. So I'm just going through and deleting these. Like that. Zoom in. Make sure things are deleted. And one more here. There we go. So our interior walls are completed. The next stage is that we have to figure out where our doors are going to go. So in that case, we're going to get our tape measure tool, and typically a door is not set straight into the corner, it's set out from the corner a small amount. So what we're going to do here is we'll just go with a standard 4 inches from the corner, and we're going to use a 30-inch door. So we're going to measure 30 inches and put a mark, and then you can just use your line tool, and you can just click across the wall and across the wall, and then grab your eraser and erase that chunk of wall. Same thing on this other side. Grab our tape measure tool, 4 inches, zoom in, 30-inch door. It's a bit small. Lots of times with bedrooms now they're going with 32s, but for this small house we'll do it that way. For this broom closet, we're just going to go straight across, and that'll be a 24-inch wide, like bifold door. And then in these bedrooms, we are going to come in 5 inches on each side, and that's going to allow us to put in, if we measure this, it's 36 inches, which is sort of a easily found bifold door that can be used for a closet. You don't want to get into like random widths like 43 inches or anything like that. You want to sort of keep it even. And then we can erase these. Now we've got a closet access into this room. We've got a closet door into this master bedroom. All we need now is a door into the bathroom. So we'll grab that tape measure tool, 4 inches from the corner, plunk in a 30-inch door, and we'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to just put the door for this up here on the outside corner, and that way we can have access from the kitchen, and it could be like a utility room slash pantry, so there could be multiple purposes in that room. Then we'll just erase these, and we're almost set to go. The one last thing we want to do is put in our front door. So if we look at this width, it's 60 inches. So there's our midpoint. See how it highlights in blue? So your system will do the same thing, your drawing. And if you wanted something centered on this wall, so you'd find the midpoint, and then you would come in and say we wanted a 36-inch wide door, a 3-foot wide door. Then we could go 1.5 feet this way and 1.5 feet this way. And there's our doorway. And then just trace our line across here like that, making sure that it's at the intersection. And instead of erasing both lines in this case, because it's an exterior wall, we'll just erase the one, and then we're going to go edit, delete guides, and it cleans up all that stuff. So there we go. We've got our exterior walls done, doorways in place, and we are ready to use the push-pull tool, grab those walls and pull them up, and we can type in. So same thing applies with the push-pull. When you click on a surface, click, release your finger, drag the mouse up, and then type in 8 feet. We've got 8-foot walls. And there we go. We have our floor plan done up into 3 dimensions. And at this point, we're going to take a break and let you guys get caught up and get done to this point. And in the next video, I'm going to describe how to fill in the headers across the tops of the doors and put in some windows. Okay?